Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and looking out of your window. At first, everything seems normal. The sky is bright, birds are singing, people are starting their day. But then you notice something impossible. There are two suns in the sky. Not a reflection, not a rare atmospheric illusion, not a scientific experiment. A real second sun. For a few moments, it would be the most beautiful sight in human history. Millions of people would rush outside. Social media would explode. News channels across the world would stop everything they were doing to cover the event. But while the rest of humanity is staring at the sky in amazement, scientists would be terrified. Because a second sun would not be a miracle. It would be the beginning of the greatest disaster our planet has ever faced. To understand why, we first need to understand something important. What exactly is the sun? Most people think of the sun as a giant ball of fire. In reality, it is something far more extraordinary. The sun is a massive star located at the center of our solar system. It is about 1.4 million kilometers wide, which means more than 1 million Earths could fit inside it. Deep within its core, temperatures reach approximately 15 million degrees Celsius. At those incredible temperatures, hydrogen atoms are crushed together and fused into helium. This process is called nuclear fusion. Every second, the sun converts hundreds of millions of tons of hydrogen into energy. That energy travels across space as heat and light. Everything on Earth depends on it. The food you eat, the oxygen you breathe, the weather outside your window, the oceans, the forests, and every living creature on this planet ultimately owe their existence to the sun. Without it, Earth would become a frozen, dark, lifeless world. In many ways, the sun is not just a star. It is the engine of life itself. And that raises an interesting question. If one sun gives us life, wouldn't two suns be even better? Wouldn't twice the sunlight mean twice the energy, twice the warmth, twice the opportunity for life to flourish? It sounds reasonable. But the universe does not work that way. In fact, the very thing that makes life possible on Earth is balance. Our planet exists in a narrow region around the sun known as the habitable zone. This is the perfect distance where water can remain liquid and temperatures remain suitable for life. Move Earth slightly closer to the sun, and our oceans begin to evaporate. Move it slightly farther away, and our planet freezes. Life exists because Earth occupies an incredibly precise position in space. Now imagine introducing a second sun into that delicate balance. The consequences would begin almost immediately. Within hours, Earth would start receiving significantly more energy than it was designed to handle. Temperatures would begin rising across the globe. At first, people might barely notice. A few degrees warmer, longer daylight hours, brighter skies. But within weeks, the changes would become impossible to ignore. Heat waves would intensify across every continent. Regions already struggling with extreme temperatures would become nearly uninhabitable. Air conditioning systems would fail under overwhelming demand. Power grids would struggle to keep up. Cities would begin experience temperatures never before recorded in human history. And then something even stranger would happen. Night would begin to disappear. Depending on the position of the second sun, many parts of Earth might never experience complete darkness again. Imagine a world where the stars vanish, where true night no longer exists. For thousands of years, life on Earth has evolved around a cycle of day and night. Humans sleep according to it. Animals hunt according to it. Plants grow according to it. Remove darkness from the equation, and entire ecosystems begin to collapse. Migratory birds lose their navigation systems. Nocturnal animals struggle to survive. Human sleep patterns become severely disrupted. Mental health problems increase. Biological clocks fall out of sync. The disappearance of night would affect every living thing on Earth. But this is only the beginning. As months pass, the extra heat would begin attacking one of Earth's most important defenses. Its ice. The vast ice sheets of Antarctica and Greenland would melt at accelerating rates. Trillions of tons of ice would flow into the oceans. Sea levels would begin rising. Coastal cities around the world would face increasing floods. Entire regions could eventually disappear beneath the water. But perhaps the most dangerous effect would occur within the oceans themselves. The oceans absorb enormous amounts of heat. As they warm, weather systems become increasingly unstable. Hurricanes grow stronger. Storms become more destructive. Rainfall patterns change dramatically. Some regions face endless droughts. Others experience catastrophic flooding. The climate system that humanity has relied upon for thousands of years would begin to unravel. Agriculture would suffer next. Crops require specific temperatures and weather conditions to grow successfully. As temperatures rise and rainfall becomes unpredictable, harvests would begin to fail. Food shortages would spread. Prices would skyrocket. Entire nations could face famine. Yet even these disasters are not the greatest threat. The real danger comes from gravity. Most people think the solar system is stable. In reality, it is balanced on an intricate gravitational framework. The sun's gravity keeps every planet moving in predictable orbits. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Every one of them follows a carefully balanced path around the sun. Now imagine introducing another star with the same mass as our sun. Suddenly, every planet is being pulled by two powerful gravitational forces. And that raises a fascinating question. Which sun would the planets follow? The answer is neither. Planets do not choose. They obey gravity. Some planets might remain bound primarily to the original sun. Others could be captured by the new sun. Some might end up orbiting both stars in complex patterns. Others could be thrown completely out of the solar system. Earth's orbit would become unstable. Even a small change in Earth's distance from the sun can have devastating consequences. If Earth moved slightly closer, temperatures could become unbearable. If it moved farther away, global freezing could begin. Either scenario threatens the survival of life, and Earth would not be the only world affected. Mercury, already the closest planet to the Sun, would become an even more extreme furnace. Venus, already hotter than Mercury due to its runaway greenhouse effect, could become one of the most hostile worlds imaginable. Mars might briefly experience warmer temperatures as its polar ice caps melt. For a short period, parts of Mars could even become more Earth-like. But that stability would not last. Jupiter and Saturn would experience changes in their massive atmospheres. Storm systems could intensify. Saturn's famous icy rings might slowly begin to deteriorate. Even the distant ice giants Uranus and Neptune would feel the effects. And Pluto, despite being classified as a dwarf planet, could see its frozen surface begin to change under increased solar energy. But there is an even more terrifying possibility. What if the two suns started moving toward each other? At first, they would begin orbiting one another. Their immense gravitational forces would distort the entire solar system. Planetary orbits would become increasingly chaotic. Eventually, the outer layers of the two stars could begin interacting. From Earth, it might appear as though two suns are slowly merging into one. In reality, it would be one of the most energetic events in the universe. As the stars move closer together, unimaginable amounts of energy would be released. The skies would grow brighter. Radiation levels would increase. The solar system would become a far more dangerous place. Eventually, the two stars could merge into a larger star. By this stage, Earth would almost certainly be uninhabitable. The oceans might have evaporated. The atmosphere could be severely damaged. The surface could resemble a scorched wasteland. In some extreme stellar collisions involving more massive stars, explosive events known as supernovae can occur. A nearby supernova can briefly outshine entire galaxies. If such an event happened close to Earth, life would have virtually no chance of survival. The sky would become a wall of blinding light, and then everything would change forever. What makes this thought experiment even more fascinating is that two sun systems actually exist. Throughout our galaxy, astronomers have discovered binary star systems where two stars orbit one another. Some planets orbit both stars at the same time. Imagine standing on a distant world and watching two sunsets every evening. For those planets, two suns are normal. The crucial difference is that those systems formed together from the beginning. Their planets evolved within that environment. Our solar system did not. Earth evolved around one star, one source of heat, one source of light, one gravitational anchor, and that single star has protected life for more than 4 billion years. The next time you watch a sunrise, remember that the sun is far more than a bright object in the sky. It is the reason oceans remain liquid, the reason forests grow, the reason civilizations exist, the reason you're alive. Because one sun was enough to create life, but a second sun might be enough to destroy it.